We believe it's the decayed remains of Noah's Ark.
Wow. Yeah, because right angles you don't find right angles in nature.
Yeah, normally you don't, and especially we're seeing an order to it.
Yeah, right.
And it's not just some weird random way.
Yeah,
It's actually lining up the way the ship is shaped. So it all fits into it being a man-made object at least. And I don't know what else would be built that'd be shaped of a ship, not a barn or something. So, and we're in the mountains of Ararat. So we're in the biblical location that Moses said the ark landed.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting.
One of the things I thought of earlier today that I was going to ask you, and I'm glad I remembered it. I didn't write it down, which is a miracle that I remembered. When you are at the mountains of Ararat, are there names still today for the different peaks that are inside the mountain range? Because it's really a mountain range, right?
Yeah. There are modern names, and some of them go further back, obviously. So, like the name Ararat itself, the peak of Greater Ararat and Lesser Ararat, the traditional big volcano, is 17 miles north of our site across the valley. That name, they say it was named back in the Middle Ages by a Christian monk or something. He said, this is Mount Ararat. But so that's like is for the actual peak being named. But the region itself was always been known. They figured out later that, okay, Ararat came from the name Urartu. And now we're finding all over this whole area of these mountainous, parts of mainly eastern Turkey, but also into Armenia and northern Iran. You're finding the remains of this civilization from the Iron Age and probably even before. And so you have their castles, their cities, their settlements, even the area we're at with the Drupner site nearby. There's at least 2 to 3 different Urartian, that's how I guess you say it, Urartian settlements and castles. So they were saying even the north side of Mount Ararat. So, they're definitely at the furthest extent of their kingdom. If you look like on Wikipedia, the scientific articles, it was pretty big area that they covered. And they were well known for the metallurgy. So they were pretty advanced. They had chariots. There's a really good museum in Van, which was their capital. And this is about 2 hours driving south of where the Ark formation is. And modern day Turkey in Van, it's on a lake, Lake Van. And on this plateau is this big castle that was used, starting with the Urartians and all the way up to Ottoman, the Turkish time period. They built this castle, the perfect place for it. And that was the capital of this kingdom. And all around there, you'll find since it's a mountainous area, they were well known for their castles and fortresses. And so they're finding, when they do these excavations on mountaintops, they're finding these castles. And so the peaks, you have a lot, most of them are modern day name or Middle Ages or whatever. But the name in the biblical account, it says mountains of Ararat. Mm-hmm. That's like if I were to say today, the mountains of Canada. It's like if I were to write Genesis, I'm like, okay, Noah's Ark landed in the Rocky Mountains or the mountains of Canada,
right?
Because Urartu refers to the name of a country. It just says in this mountainous area of this country, the Ark landed, and so Moses didn't give exact peak,
right?
So we have a wide area. It's still eastern Turkey. It's not Tibet. It's not Mount Everest. But we still have that area of the world where the Ark would have landed, and not an exact peak.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is because in the Book of Jubilees, there's an interesting note in here, and I think it's in. Let's see, I pulled it up real quick while you were talking there. It's in chapter 5, verse 28, and the Ark went and rested on top of Lubar, Lubar, one of the mountains of Ararat. Does that mean anything to you nowadays?